basically, this is a special guest, very close friend of mine. His name's Chris as well. Chris, welcome. Welcome today, because we are going to do the first podcast for In the Mix. Now, one of the topics for In the Mix is, and it's going to be an ongoing topic of interviews with several different people, is your favourite 2-car garage at any cost and your favourite 5-car garage for £2 million or $2 million. So, welcome, mate. What's with the German junk hat on?
Lewis Hamilton, mate.
Well, that's even worse then, isn't it? Ferrari all day, please. Over here. Ferrari, and Ferrari. Yeah. So, Chris, tell us a little bit. I know you've got some major karting history going on in your history. So tell the folks a little bit about that, because obviously they're going to question and think, well, who's this dude? Why is he opening a podcast up with Chris on cars when really what's so special?
To be fair, it wasn't really that much of a special thing. It was just endurance karting. We had a few races, had a good laugh. Used to do some 8-hour events. Never got to do a 24-hour event, but come close a couple of times. But yeah, it's good fun. Raced, did a lot of times against some pro drivers, ex-F1 drivers and ex-touring car drivers. I had a friend who was a test driver who used to be a teammate of mine in an 8-hour endurance team.
Oh, nice.
You used to have a good laugh. Good fun, mate.
Cool. So what we'll do is we're going to get started. I know you're a massive, what I'm going to call German junk fan, as well as you used to be a mega Jag fan. And how many years have I known you now? At least possibly 10, nearly 10 years. Yeah. So you've flitted from some interesting cars to wanting interesting cars, mate.
Mate, it's being a petrol head, mate. It changes from day to day.
Yeah, but mate, you've got some really weird choice. You were adamant at one stage you're getting, and I agreed with this one. I wouldn't have minded it. Was the old shape E55 AMG?
I wouldn't mind one.
I wouldn't have minded that. What else have I agreed with you on? Probably not much else really, because you like Porsche Boxsters and.
You might be surprised on the list, mate. You might be surprised on a couple of these cars.
Okay, so right. Well, we're gonna get the best one out of the way first, which is, I think this is the hardest out of the two, personally.
Yep.
Okay, is your favourite 2-car garage for an unlimited price?
Right. Now, you see, the ultimate 2-car garage is hard because being a family guy, I've got to have a daily. And the daily's got to be something boring. Or does it?
Why is it going to be boring?
It doesn't necessarily have to be something boring.
No.
Now, I'm a big fan of things with a lot of muscle.
All right.
So, my daily would be a Mercedes GLS. But not just any old GLS. This is where it comes in. Brabus,
yes,
do a special called an 850.
Yep.
So it's got a heck of a lot of power and a heck of a lot of torque.
Yeah, I think it's 850 brake or 857 or something brake, and
1,500 Newton meters of torque.
Oh yeah, something ridiculous.
So it literally pull a building down.
Yeah. Well, okay, so
that fits the dog, the kids, and all the paraphernalia in the back.
Right, okay.
And then the toy.
The toy.
I've gone through so many because there's so many classics that I wouldn't mind having. Now, my dream car, limitless budget, would have probably been a DB4 GT Zagato. But they're 7 million at least.
Yeah, but this is the point. It is unlimited.
That's it, yeah. But then the problem you've got with that is it's half a century old. It's not the quickest thing in the world. It might be fun for a black once, twice a year, but then you want something with a bit more power. So I went to look at other things like Ferrari GTOs, 288s, Ferrari F40s.
I won't upset you. Monday, I'm luckily enough, hopefully, cross the fingers, the weather,
Weather permitting. Yeah.
Permitting, I get to go in my F40 on Monday, and then I get a ride back from the MOT station in a 911 GT2.
See, now the GT2 RS, mate, that will surprise you. That will surprise you, mate.
So
there's nothing like a Porsche horsepower.
Yeah, there is. And then I will upset you, and it looks like I might even get to go out in the GTO.
Yeah. Now the GTO, out of the two Halo cars from the 80s, early 90s, I prefer the look of the GTO. There's not much in it under the skin. There's not a massive difference between the two. They're both V8s. They're both twin turbos. The GTO is a bit more retro looking at, but they're pretty quick, both of them.
F40 is iconic, mate.
Well, to be fair, there's not a lot in it when it comes to iconic cars. There are more iconic Ferraris, like the 250 GTO.
Yeah, but
is a more iconic Ferrari.
Yeah, but you're looking at millions and millions.
That's the thing.
You're talking 2 million for a really, really mint. Like today, which came up. Actually, we're not trying to go off topic here. We're still talking about cars, but going off topic a little bit is today I'm part of the F40 group in Facebook, right? And there's a guy who's just passed away. He has owned the car since the day it was manufactured, and he has owned it until he died.
Yeah.
This month.
Now that is an iconic car.
That will be worth an absolute fortune. Like Jean Alesi sold his F40 to fund his son's racing.
Yeah. Well, that's one way to do it.
Well, yeah, but that won't even be a season.
No. That'd be a few races.
Exactly.
But then, right, going back to the car, the ultimate car. It's not too much after that it was made, but for me, the ultimate sports car that you could drive on the road on a daily basis for fun and not have too many problems with it would be McLaren F1 LM. And that's what I'd have as my toy.
It's a 20+ million pound car.
But these are ultimate two-car garage.
Yes.
So I'm saving a lot on my first car. This is an ultimate garage. This is ultimate garage.
Yep, I get that. It was my challenge. Favourite two-car garage, ultimate garage.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, no one in their right mind would just stick to two. You would have a little sports car or something to toy with.
That's why I did it. That's why I limited it to two. If I'd said three, I think it'd been so easy.
Yeah.
I could say.
A little.
You're breaking a little bit, mate. It was me.
Yeah. I think we're both breaking up.
Yeah. If it was me and it was a three-car garage, I would have a G63.
Yeah.
I'd have my F40.
Yeah.
100% every day of the week. And then I would have something reckless like, and this probably won't shock you because you know me quite well, but I would have
something Japanese and high power.
It's Japanese. It's definitely Japanese because it's just 90% bomb-proof most of the time. I would actually have a Colin McRae series WRC car, so based on the 22B, but 22B.
Yeah, proper pro drive one.
Pro drive rally car.
Yeah.
On the road with sequential gearbox in it. That would be the ultimate three car for me. Something like that. But, and the ultimate two for me would be I would have to say it's a toss-up. It's a real hard one because I like the original Hummer, and I've always wanted one, but I do really, and this isn't probably the only. There's only probably one or two German junk cars, as I call them, I would honestly have, and the new G60 would be it in black.
Well, you see, I've driven a couple of the GLSs recently because I'm looking at the GL for a daily, and they're like another world. It's like having a G-Wagon that can drive like a Range Rover.
Yeah.
So you've got all the comfort there, but if you wanted to go up a mountain, it will do it. Yeah. With 7 seats.
Yeah. No, I'd have the G, and I'd have the Urban carbon kit on it, which looks pretty funky. And I definitely have my. There's part of me on Monday. Obviously, I'm not driving the car. It's valued at like £1.5 million.
Yep.
So no, but part of me is apprehensive because they always say never go and get in your
meet your heroes.
Look at your heroes, or go and work out, train with them, or do whatever. But that is like ultimate to me. I'm lucky enough with the people who store my GTR. They're going to help me out and let me have a ride in it. But I'm like kid in candy store. I'm like, can't control myself over it.
Yeah.
I'm lucky enough on that to have a go in it. So, moving on. This is. I haven't even put my list together for this because I really want to go through at least 10 people. Go through. Is that Spook in the background communicating?
Yeah, you can hear the dog in the background. Yeah.
She wants her car. Basically, I would like to get at least 10 or so people ideas of their 5-car, £2 million garage, and then come in with mine. So, basically, car number one of your 5-car, £2 million garage.
Right. Well, this is a hard one because I'm not actually sure on how much it's worth.
Right. I'll probably.
You might be able to help me with this. The new Koenigsegg Gemera.
Right.
It's a four-seater.
I honestly don't know the costs of this, and I'm thinking it's knocking on. I think it's around 6.
What? 600 grand?
Yeah.
Well, there you go then. There's my family daily run around.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll do. And it's a hybrid, so you won't pay congestion charge.
Yes, no congestion charge, no.
Yeah. So I'll have that in there.
You have £1.4 million to buy 4 cars.
Well, that's easy. Right, I'd get that Brabus GLS that we spoke about before.
Right, well, I
just love a Tonka toy. I love a Tonka toy, and that's pretty much it.
Mate, that's knocking on 200 grand.
Yep, that's all right. That's no problem.
If not a little bit more. So we'll be conservative and say that's 800,000. So you have 1.2 left.
Which is an awful lot of money for 3 cars.
3 cars, yes.
Because there's not really, in the hypercar market, there's nothing really that floats my boat. Apart from, I'd be tempted with Pagani Zonda Roadster.
Zonda Roadster, not the Huayra.
No, because the Zonda Roadster's normally aspirated.
On the V12.
V12, no messing about with turbos, just pure noise.
And pure AMG jumping, yeah?
That's it. Well, if it's good enough for Mr. Lewis Hamilton, mate, it's good enough for me. But mate, you're knocking, that would blow your budget in 3 cars. Gone. If not. Is that it? You reckon that's over $1 million? For a second-hand one of them? Yeah. All right, well, we'll scrap that one then. We'll wipe that one off the list then.
Hell yeah, over £1 million, mate.
We've got a normal daily and a silly daily. Then I'd have a pair of Germans. That's not surprising. I'd have to have the latest 911 GT2 RS.
What, the last series?
The latest one, yeah.
What, the 992?
No, 991.2.
Right, okay. So you're looking...
I have to have that. That thing's the quickest road car around the Nürburgring.
Yeah, you're looking at 300 grand.
Yeah, so it's for what you're getting, that's a reasonable amount of money.
That's 900 grand there we've spent. It's a source of car, mate.
And then...
That'd be I think the only modern day port. I do like the 918. I like the look of the 9. Yeah. And I'm not the hybrid guy of hybrid guys, am I?
No.
Me and electric, it's going to be the last day on earth. That there'll have to be literally drops of petrol coming in tankers before I even go and buy electric.
Yeah.
Unless suddenly Ferrari bring out an all-electric car which goes from 0 to 60 in 0.1 second or something. Then I can see.
Well, you mean the one that they're bringing out next year?
No. So we're on 900 grand.
I'm going to have a lot of change left over to decorate my garage. Because the next car I'd have is the 911 Speedster, the latest one, the 991.2.
0.2 Speedster.
Yeah, because that is basically it's the GT3 RS.
Yeah, I know.
With the roof chopped off.
Yeah.
I could have gone with a touring, but then if I've got a 911 GT2, what do I need a touring for? Just go for a nice convertible.
What do you need a Speedster for?
A Speedster's just fun. Just sort of two people, open top.
I could be hypocritical here because I own a Lotus and say, don't get enough fucking nice days, mate.
But then, even if you get two, you've got the choice there. It's sat there waiting for you. If not, hard life, you get the GT2 RS out,
Yes, I'll give you that.
In the rain.
I don't know the budget on that one, the price on that.
Well, I think they're a bit more expensive because they're a bit more exclusive. I would say it's more expensive than the GT2 RS. I would say they're knocking on for 300-400 grand.
Okay, we'll go in the middle and say 375. So what's that? That's 1.275 million.
Yep. Now my last car, I presume that's the fifth one, yeah. So the fifth one, I was very, very tempted, but it would have blown my budget. Was getting a trophy truck. A trophy truck, Baja, a Baja truck.
That wouldn't blow your budget.
They're $1 million to build.
Yeah, no, right.
So what's left with my budget?
About a Class 1 trophy truck.
Yeah, that's the one. If you're going to go in.
Who's the drifter who drives Ford Mustang? Has got one.
I know who you mean, but I can't think of the name now.
His name Junior. You know the guy I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's he did one that he did a video for, and I think the retail cost of that was $750,000 US.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was when I was briefly looking at Baja stroke trophy trucks, they all seem to be about the £1 million and a bit budget,
right? For
the proper championship winning ones, right? And the best bit about it is they're all road legal, like a rally car.
Yeah, I know they're really.
They have to be road legal.
Well, why a trophy truck?
I just think they are mega fun. You can just go over the top of anything.
Where are you
carry on going?
Even Milton Keynes, mate. You can't. What you're going to do?
Exactly.
You're going to drive straight over each roundabout.
Yep.
You'd be arrested.
No, but seriously, if you went to somewhere that you can go off road and have a good laugh, that would be just such a giggle.
Yeah.
It's such a giggle.
I get that, but if I lived in Milton Keynes, I've always said if I ever lived in MK properly and I owned that, I would want a Mark II Escort.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the reasons why I didn't end up going with a trophy truck.
Right.
Because A, it's an awful lot of money to put on something like that. Blows half your budget straight off. And there's not really the areas to play with that. But what I went with, there is. And it's like a halfway house.
All right, here we go.
So you can get, and it's been proven that they've won rallies. One in particular was the Paris Dakar.
Right.
We both know the Paris Dakar is not really a rally to mess with.
No, it's not. No.
The 911 Safari.
A 911 Safari.
Yeah, and they're getting way more popular now. There's a lot of guys that are building them now.
Oh yeah, of course there is. There's a lot of like Porsche have got. I'll give Porsche the due. They have a lot of history in motorsport. An awful lot.
And a lot more off-road than people realise.
Oh yeah, but then so did Ferrari. Ferrari used to have the 308 rally car.
Well, the GTO was built for Group B rallying before they pulled the plug on it.
Same, and then the 308 came out, and they did it in the 308 around Italy, France, and places like.
But yeah, I've just seen so many on videos and magazines and stuff of guys getting Safari rallies now and building them now, taking a street legal 911 and building it, jacking it up, bigger wheels, knobbly tyres, beadlock wheels, and going off road with them, and they look like a right fun, car.
Yeah, I still think you should have had something for around town.
Well, around town, I think a 911 Speedster or the GT2 RS will do a track day and going to and from a track day in fun. More than enough.
Yeah, I get that.
And in a straight line, you're not really going to beat the Koenigsegg. 4 up in something that has that much power.
The torque in that thing's ridiculous.
Exactly.
It's crazy, that car.
Exactly. I mean, I did toy with a Caterham 650R, which is, that is pretty much a race car, with a huge engine.
Yeah. That's
huge power.
0 to 60 on that's like 2 seconds or something.
Yeah. And you've got nothing protecting you apart from a roll cage, which, would be good fun. It would be seat of the pants driving round roundabouts in Milton Keynes. But then I can do that. I can do sideways action in their Speedster.
Yeah, right. Okay. When you can keep up with me, we'll see.
Well, yeah.
So like I said, ladies and gents, this guy is nicknamed the German Junk King. I think I only know one other. Well, actually, I tell a lie there. I actually tell a lie. I'm being invaded by German junks, right? My car valeter doesn't shut up about an E63.
Yeah.
My other mate, who I'm going to get on at some stage, is a golf lover. German car lover. Absolutely loves German car. You guys all in your heads reading. And I hope this causes...
To be fair, I've gone through my Japanese stage. And I love a Japanese car. But there's too much wiring to go wrong. And for the money you get now on these Japanese cars, they're going for ridiculous money.
But they're not.
You can't get into a Supra. You can't get into a Supra for love nor money. You can't get a decent RX-7 anymore. They're either ruined or out of people's budgets.
I get that, mate. It has come into play. I'm actually doing a photo shoot tomorrow with the R35. So we have at my storage now a Bayside Blue R34.
Yeah, lovely car.
Oh, it's beautiful. This thing, the owner paid 76 grand for it. And I
can remember when you could get into one of them for 40, no problem.
Less than that.
Yeah.
And we've got an R33 in midnight purple, I think it is, or black.
Now that's my favourite shape. I still can't beat the R33. The shape of it's perfect.
I just think it's a very, 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 very long car, mate. It is a long car.
To be fair, at the same time, I had a Supra, which is another very, very long car.
But I would compare your Supra up against my R35, and I would say they're pretty similar. But an R33 is slender, but it goes on forever, mate. That car.
Oh, yeah. But it's I just remember a friend of mine was racing cars and test driving for Race Logic. Mm-hmm. And at the same time, the same people that were dealing with Race Logic were importing all the Blitz parts for Jack cars into the UK. And he had the Blitz Supra. And in the catalogue, they had a pearl white R33 with gold Blitz wheels on it. And I still think that blew away the Supra completely.
It rimmed, yeah.
The look of it was just amazing.
But they're just so long.
Yeah.
The guy who rebuilt my Impreza, he's got a midnight purple from Japan.
And
it's unbelievable. It's mint. It's running 780, I think. Won't sell it. I've offered him 30 grand last year for it, cash. He said, go.
Yeah.
It went beep at me and said, why? But it's unbelievable. The prices are just, a decent RX-7 now, and I'm talking, you've got to find a decent one, and it's hard. A decent one, 20 plus.
Well, it's a lot of cars, a lot of nostalgia on 90s cars now are just putting the prices through the roof. It's just ridiculous. I saw an auction this morning where a Sierra Cosworth, and I don't even think it was an RS500, a white one, and it looked like a barn find because it was still covered in dust.
Yeah.
Was at an auction, and it eventually went for £80,000.
Yeah, because it's done 0 mileage.
Yep. Yeah.
Well, there was an auction earlier this year at Silverstone before lockdown. Literally 2 weeks before lockdown. Because on the end, right?
Yeah.
So they had an I'll tell you about the RS200 first. They had an RS200 rally car, and this car was actually running a YB engine instead of an original engine, but it came with the original engine. This car went over £250,000.
Yeah. If it's got any sort of heritage with it, of history of racing,
they had. And then they had an RS500 there in white.
Yep.
What do you reckon it went for?
Oh, mate, it'd be silly money. It'd be silly. 150?
Yeah. 150 grand.
Yeah.
An RS, the highest RS, just a 3-door on a D plate or an E plate.
Yeah.
I've seen is 89 grand.
Yeah, but it's the same with the 90s shape 911s, the 964s. They were going, 20 years ago, you could pick one of them up for 10 grand.
Put it this way. My dad, for instance, 2003, I went to Oz to have my knee constructed. Dad sold his 911 Carrera convertible in Oz. Okay, it had 69,000 kilometers. So what, 40-something thousand miles? He sold that for $48,000.
Yep.
So, okay, go on current exchange rate. That's cheap as chips. That's what, it's under 20 grand.
Yeah. You try getting one of them now.
Try getting a 993 convertible Carrera under 40.
Yeah. Well, I was looking the year my dad died. I went out to Portugal for a few weeks, and I remember having this Porsche mag, and I was looking through the classifieds in it, and there was a 964 RS going for 21 grand.
Oh man.
And that was in 2002. And I was contemplating buying it when I got back for 21 grand. I should have put all my money into it, because now they're going for 150 grand.
And the rest.
Yeah, for a good one.
For a good RS, you're looking minimum 180 for a good one.
Yeah.
I get it, and I think manufacturers are at fault at this, and this is the reason why I'm saying this, is because obviously I watch a lot of the other guys on YouTube and stuff like that, and I was listening to the car guys the other day. Now, these guys have got a 22 car collection. They spent, I don't know the exact figure, but they bought a Renault Clio Williams 2 the other day.
Yeah.
With 6,000 miles on the clock. I'm not going to quote the exact figure that they paid, but I know what it was up for, and it's close to 30-odd grand.
Yeah.
And I just think their point of this is, you know, they've got a Pista Spider on order.
Yeah.
And they've got a lot of other modern cars as well. They've got TDF. They've got a Speciale Aperta 458. An amazing car. Like, silly money, 600K now. But their argument now is all the modern cars are becoming exactly the same.
They're being dull. Yeah.
I think that's why the second-hand car market in these cars, such as, take it for instance, TGE on YouTube, I went out and bought a Carrera GT. He's got a Pista. He could have gone and bought a Superfast or something a little bit more modern again. But I think the enjoyment factor of the original cars coming back, and it's haunting cars left, right, and centre, which is then
I think
prices up.
I think also there is a certain period of time that goes by. So a car's brand new, they're in fashion. Then a few years later, they go out of fashion. When they go out of fashion, that's the moment to buy them. Because a few years down the line, after that, people get nostalgic for that era of car. So for us, our nostalgic era is mainly the 80s and early 90s. And if we could have caught that train before it left, now it's gone. If you could have got a Sapphire Cosworth when they were going for 2.5 grand, or an M3 E30 BMW that was going for 7 grand, if we could have hit the boat then.
You're pulling figures out of now. You're looking at gold mines now.
Exactly, but the problem is, at one point these cars were out of fashion. The E30 M3 went through a brief period where it was out of fashion when the E36 came out, and everyone wanted the 6-cylinder. And then a little time after that, they suddenly started to realise there's not many of them left. You better get hold of the good ones.
Yeah. Oh, they're worth silly money now. Absolute silly. Yeah. I've seen a few over 100K.
Yep. And now you've got to start looking at the period we're in now, where, okay, it's 2020 now. You've got to start looking at cars from the early 2000s and start going, right, which ones of these are going to be going up?
There isn't anything. There's nothing else.
I don't know. I think every era has certain cars.
Oh, I get that. I don't disagree with that at all. But
and it doesn't always have to be the hypercars.
No. But what would you pick?
I really don't know. I think things like 106 rallies.
Oh, yeah, they're worth a lot of money now.
A lot of little cars. If you could get into one of them, or a 106 GTI.
Most of them are wrecked, mate. Trust me,
Yeah. That's the eternal
been thrashed.
Search. But then, to be fair, if something's been thrashed, as long as it's not been crashed, thrashed isn't a problem. You can always put, especially when you're talking about little engines like a 106 Rally. You know, you slap a little engine like that in, cheapest chips.
Yeah, but you're still looking at 4Gs to rebuild it.
Oh, I don't know. You can get a V8 rebuilt for 4Gs.
Yeah.
Let alone a little 4-pot.
Yeah, it'll cost you 4Gs to rebuild a 106 engine easily every day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, mate.
And to be fair though, if you're picking one of these up cheapest chips, you know.
World anyway.
Yeah.
Eat a matrix 8.5 hour booked hours.
Yeah, but there's little cars that if you get them now, in 10 years' time, when they start going in you know, nostalgic views from the guys who are like in their 20s and 30s now, when they hit that age, that they've got a bit of money, their kids are grown up, they fancy putting something in the garage that they remember when they first drove.
Well, you know my opinion of you and your Boxer. I don't disagree with your idea, your principles of your Boxer. But I don't think it's going to be Gen 1 that's going to do it. I reckon it's going to be Gen 2.
Do you know what? I actually, I'm pretty sure every Porsche has its day. I can remember when 914s, no one wanted them. They were a wreck.
Tom TGE, he's got one, and you know, he's like, can't shut up about it.
I can remember, but then also what you'll find is the average ones go up steady, but then you've got the special editions. If you get a special edition, that's where the real money is going to be.
Yeah, like, put it this way, there's a guy at where I store my GTR. He's got a Renault 5 Gordini Turbo. Yep.
Now they're lovely, but if you had a Renault 5 Turbo 2, they're ridiculous money.
Yeah, but what do you reckon this Gordini Turbo's worth?
You'd probably pick up one of those for 15, 20.
No, mate. This is 150 grand.
Oh, that's Turbo 2 money. That's rear-wheel drive territory.
Yeah.
That's not the normal front-wheel drive cars.
No.
Normal front-wheel drive cars are cheap as chips.
A Raider, you're looking at around 19 grand for a good one.
Yeah. But then Raiders were special edition.
Yeah.
They weren't the average ones.
A decent Renault 5, you're still looking over 12 grand.
Yeah. But then it's like a Porsche Boxster. What you'll find the collectors will go for the first year that they came out with a 2.5. They'll go for low mileage ones to those.
Yeah.
And the rest of the years will slightly come up because of those ones going up in value. And then you'll find the limited edition ones. So like the anniversary one that came right at the end, 2004, that would be worth a lot of money. And rare colours like Speed Yellow, Guards Red, certain types where there weren't that many. There's a lot of black, silver, grey, blue. But if you get a yellow one or a red one or a real rare white, that's where the money's going to be in a 3.2. And then the next generation will go up as well, but it will always trail slightly behind the earlier car.
Yeah, I just think it's very, very hard. Like, I think after the days of the Cozzies, after the days of, as soon as they started bringing out the Focus, I think that's a sack of potatoes. I honestly think that era, from the end of the Escort Cosworth, i.e. the WRC era, if we're going to cars, I think that era to probably present day stuff, there is a lot of stuff. If I was in my 20s again, I'd be tearing my hair out because
because it's all front wheel drive.
It's all front wheel drive. It's all very, it's all very plain. Like, okay, I probably actually, thinking about it realistically, and it is an understated car, but it's very, very easy to tune. Is the Golf R, but every Tom, Dick, and Harry has got a Golf R.
Yeah. AMG A45 is too much money.
Yeah,
and same with the S3.
And I'm not one for, being a Tom, Dick, and Harry. I like different stuff.
Yeah.
So, what would you honestly? It's the modern era, like.
Well, the modern era of hatchback, hot hatches, it's been bland for a while. I mean, RSs are trying to get something in there, but it's all front wheel drive with a bit of hybrid in the rear. It's nothing compared to the 80s. You know.
Right. But I just think there's some crazy stuff out there. But like I say, the only modern car at this moment in time, and this is, I think, probably the sexiest rear-ended car at the moment, an F8 Tributo. I think that new F8 Tributo rear end is the sexiest rear-ended car after my R35.
Do you know what? I quite like the Roma. I know it's the bottom of the range, but
well, no, it's not. It's not bottom of the range. The California is the bottom of the range. So
I thought the Roma was being introduced as underneath that.
Oh, no. The Portofino, which took over from the California, it's Portofino, okay?
And then Roma.
No, because then it goes, so that's got the has it got the V8 in the Roma has?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. So it goes to Portofino, the Tributo,
yeah,
goes to the Roma, and then the F12.
Yeah.
So it's based on that sort of thing. And then obviously you got the last and what's the other one? The SP9.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
rear end on that F8 Tributo is sexy as hell. Like I test drove a 488 earlier this year, GTB, and I'm in love with that. But now I'm actually very, 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 very tempted to hold fire another 18 months and
see what happens with prices.
And see what happens with prices with it. If I can get a, series, like early series F8 at a good price, because this is the reason why I'm doing that. Not because I think it's got the sexiest ass on the planet, but I think it's 60 or 70 brake horsepower shy of the Pista, right? But it's like over 100 grand cheaper than the Pista.
Yeah, that's what you're looking at. You're looking at the money.
Yeah, you straight pipe it, you put a map on it, and you've got as much power, if not more, than a Pista for under 100 grand in your pocket.
Yeah.
And I personally think it's as sexy as a Pista. It's not 100% the Pista, but it's as sexy. There's a white one flying around on Facebook. It looks absolutely stunning. White with it's drooling. But going back to what you were saying about the Roma, I like the shape of the Roma, but I have not seen the dark colour yet. And
the thing is also,
looks like in a darker colour rather than the light colours I've seen it in.
But it's also, with a lot of these cars, as a car guy, you'll know, a basic car that you buy, even if it's a Ferrari, isn't always as good looking as you can make it. You put different wheels, different stance, add something here or there, and you can make a car look from a 9 out of 10 to a 10 out of 10.
Definitely.
And a Roma, I think, is one of those cars that you can do that with.
I just think that it's got a bit of class and sophistication about it. And there is, I think there's an element of Aston in it, but you could say there's a lot, the new Lotus supercar is coming out.
Yeah.
I didn't until I read it yesterday that the guy from Lotus now, from the and the Exige V6, he used to design for Ferrari. And you look at some of the new designs on that Lotus supercar bringing out, and you look at it from the 488 to modern to the F8 you see Lotus in this, or you see Ferrari in this Lotus.
Yeah.
And it's unreal. It's canny. But
also you'll find a lot of era of cars, especially hypercars, have similar looks due to legislation, where they have to keep certain angles down and have to have, pedestrian impact zones, and then they have to be able to fit engines in, and it causes all sorts of dramas with designing cars. You can't really design what you want to do anymore.
Go back to the old days.
Yeah, it's the same with racing cars. F1 used to be the pinnacle. Now it's still the fastest around the track. However, it's not as high as it was compared to everything else.
Cars around an oval are quicker.
Yeah, but that's oval. You put them on a street track, they can't do those speeds. And they can't go around the corner like an F1 car.
No, they can't do
the only thing that comes close to an F1 car is LMP1 Le Mans car. And even that, they had to soup them up past what they're allowed to do to beat the F1 times around Nürburgring and around Spa.
I just think a lot of things are being controlled by a piece of paper these days, but that's just
yeah. That's the world we live in these days.
Yes. Well, we won't get on that one because we'll be
night.
But yeah, so yes, your 5-car garage is very, very mate. Your 2-car garage doesn't shock me.
No.
Full of German junk, mate.
Well, the 5-car garage, you can play about with that because you could take out any single one of those Porsches and replace them with a Ferrari or, a Lamborghini or something along those lines. It's just, out of those sort of cars, they're the ones that are talking to me the most.
Lamborghini's German junk as well, mate.
Well, yeah, there's not a lot of difference between an R8 and a Gallardo, is there?
You mean a Hurricane? No. See, this is what makes me laugh, right? And like 12 months ago, I was contemplating a Hurricane, right? And I was thinking, right, I can go and buy an R8, same car.
Yeah.
I looked at them before I bought the GTR, right?
Yeah.
And then I remember driving my old client's V8 one, and I was like, my Impreza was quicker than that.
Well, what I would say on those lines is the V10s are going to be a heck of a lot different than the V8s. A heck of a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And also, if you were thinking, do I get a Lamborghini V10 or an Audi V10? You go the V10 or the Audi all day long because the price of a gearbox, although it's the same because it's got Lamborghini written on it, you'll be paying 30% more.
Oh, yeah. But, mate, I would never buy an Audi R8.
No.
I wouldn't. Like I said, I think there's only 2 or 3 actual German cars I'd actually consider buying. And the G's at the top, Carrera GT2 RS, and possibly, well, there isn't an Audi there. I would probably have a Urus. If we're gonna,
I don't know, because along those lines, a Urus. Do you go Urus or do you go with the new Q8 RS? Because the Q8 RS and the Urus, they're identical.
Yeah, but the interior on the QR8 is disgusting in comparison to the Lamborghini.
Well, yeah, that's what you pay for. That's the 30% extra you pay for on a Lamborghini instead of an RS.
Better on the Lambo. But then, are you saying Lamborghini is technically now German because they're owned by Volkswagen Group, or
it's the way of big manufacturing. You go, Audi own Skoda, Seat, Volkswagen, Audi, Lamborghini, Bentley, Bugatti. The only one out of all of them that really is original part bin is Bugatti. Yeah. And look how much they cost you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But then what's BMW used to have Mini. They've got Mini. They've got Rolls-Royce. Or they had Rolls-Royce. They sell Rolls-Royce off.
No. They still got Rolls-Royce.
So, yeah. So you got BMW, Mini.
It's the same with them, yeah. It's the same. It's the same as the dark days in the 90s when Ford owned Jaguar and owned Aston Martin.
Yeah.
And you would go into an Aston Martin DB7 and have Fiesta switches.
Yeah. Mondeo switches in a DB7.
Yeah. Why am I buying, $100,000 Aston Martin and having, the windscreen wiper switch off a Ford Mondeo?
I get it, but I can say a bit like Supra and the Z4.
Yep.
But then you look up you lift the bonnet up. Actually, they did it. Daily Driven Exotics actually did it on their Supra. They actually went around the whole car that they could see the panel stamps on, right? Mm-hmm. And there is more BMW stamp on Toyota Supra than there is actually Toyota.
Yep, and to be quite honest, that is a disappointment to me, mainly because if there was, out of that partnership of BMW Toyota, if there was a company that had the money and the size to do their own bits and pieces, it's Toyota. Toyota are 10 times bigger than BMW. They've got 10 times the money. They should have really made their own infotainment system, their own, engines. They should have separated stuff.
Well, it should have just been Toyota doing it Toyota way. But it was like the BRZ as well. I don't know why the Japanese industry has gone like that. I can get it with Subaru because Subaru are so small in Japan.
Yeah.
But it's not, because it's something ridiculous. Like over 60% of Australians have got a Subaru. It's crazy.
Yeah, but out of all the Japanese brands, they're one of the smallest.
Yeah, they are.
They're nothing compared to a Honda, even a Suzuki, because Suzuki are so big in engines.
Yeah. Honda, Suzuki, Yamaha.
Even Mitsubishi. Mitsubishi, when they make super tankers, they make drilling equipment, they make mining equipment. They're a huge company.
Yeah. Like all over the world for all sorts of things. But yeah, no, it's very, very crazy. But no, I do like your garage, even though it's jump, and I'm taking the piss out of that a bit. But mate, thanks very much for coming on board tonight and doing the first. Definitely have you back on some other topics on this in the mix.